In this video, you're going to learn how to use AI automation to automate your social media posting. In the project example that we're going to build, we're going to pretend that we have an e-commerce company. We're going to take our e-commerce product information and then convert that into social media posts across multiple platforms automatically. This video is brought to you by No Code MBA. If you want to learn how to build your own AI automations in your own business, check out the link in the description or go to nocode.mba to learn more. Now let's go ahead and get into this video. So first we need to go and create a new scenario. And what we're going to do is first link our Google Sheets account to Make. Because what we're going to do is look for product information on a Google Sheet that we created and then run the automation based on new rows that we add to that Google Sheet. So we're going to click Google Sheet. We're going to look for the trigger of watch new rows, which is going to start this automation. And then you want to make sure that you add your Google account. If you don't have a Google account created already or connected to Make sure you click add and connect it. You can just do that by logging in. Now we can just go ahead and you can go down to spreadsheet ID, and Make allows you to click here to choose the file. So I'm going to click and choose the Google Sheets file that we're going to do. But before we do that, let me show you the Google Sheet file that we're using. And that way you can create your own Google Sheets file that's very similar. So here we are in Google Sheets, and I've just named this file product information. I have a product name, product description, and then a made up product link. Now this is for a made up candle e-commerce store. So each of the product names is a different candle name. You have a product description and then a product link. Now, what I did and what you can do is go to ChatGPT, ask it to give you a 3-column output for a made-up candle store with a product name, product description, and made-up product link, and then have it give you around 15 rows, which is what I did, and then just paste it in here to your Google Sheet, just for this example. And then what we're going to do is take the information from each row and then create social media assets based out of them. So you can go ahead and pause the video, make sure you set up a Google Sheet similar to this, and then go back into Make. So here we are back in Make, and I'm going to go ahead and connect that Google Sheet to our automation trigger. So you're just going to open up that spreadsheet ID, search for your Google Sheet name. In my case, it was product information. Now for sheet name, it's just sheet 1 because I only have one tab here in our Google Sheet. And then does it contain headers? Yes. Row with headers is A1 to Z1. So that's basically asking, does it have headers? Yes. And then that is row 1, A1 to Z1 is where the headers are located. And then for limit, we want to do 1. So we only want to pull in 1 row at a time. So let's go ahead and click OK. And then choose where to start. Let's just say all here. So let's go ahead and click OK. And now let's add another module. So what we want to do now is work on the automations with AI to turn this row of information into social media posts. So what we're going to do is add a router here. So what this is going to allow us to do, so we'll click router, is take the information from this row, and then we can route it to different workflows that are going to let us post and create social media posts for different platforms. So for example, one platform can be X or Twitter, one can be Instagram, one can be LinkedIn. And that way we can have, for every time we add a new row, we can automatically send that information and create unique posts for each specific platform. So first, let's create an automation for a Twitter post. So we're just going to go ahead and click the plus button here. And what we want to do first is search for OpenAI. Now, OpenAI is an AI platform that allows you to essentially access a lot of the abilities that ChatGPT can do. So ChatGPT you can think of as essentially using the OpenAI abilities that we're able to use through OpenAI's API. Now, if you want, you could use Make's API connector and essentially write your own API call directly into Make. But they also have these integrations that make it a lot easier to build out. If you were going to do the API connection yourself, you could just use this HTTP connector and basically do an API call. But in our case, we are just going to use OpenAI directly. So we're going to go ahead and click OpenAI. And what we want to do here is create a completion. You can see there are a lot of different things that you can do here. You can generate audio. You can create images. You can also message an assistant, which is a little bit different from creating a completion. If you message an assistant, you can basically create assistants in the OpenAI dashboard. And then those assistants can have specific knowledge. They could have specific knowledge about your company or about other things, or just be prompted to know different things. Something that we can get into a little bit later. But right now, we're just going to create a completion, which is the simplest way of just sending information to OpenAI and then getting information back. So we're going to click Create a Completion. And we need to add an OpenAI connection. So I'm going to go ahead and add my OpenAI connection. So to do this, you're going to click Add, and then you need to go into OpenAI, create an account, and then I'm going to show you how to get an API key. So this is not going through ChatGPT directly. This is going through OpenAI's developer side. So creating a developer account on OpenAI on their platform. So we can go to platform.openai.com. And then we're going to go ahead and click sign up if you don't have an account, or log into your OpenAI platform. So once you're logged in to your OpenAI platform, go to the top and click on dashboard. And then go to the left side and click on API keys. And then once you're in the API keys section, you can go ahead and create a new secret key. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, create a new secret key. For name, it's optional, but I'm just going to say Make Automation Test. For project, you can just have it in the default project and then have permissions as all. So I'm going to create that secret key. I'm going to copy that and make sure that you copy it before you hit done. Otherwise, you'll have to do it again because it'll only show you this API key once because it's essentially a password into your account. So I'm going to delete this afterwards, and you want to make sure that you don't share this API key with anyone. So I'm going to go ahead and click done. And then I'm going to go back to Make and then paste in that API key. And then we need to get our organization ID in our OpenAI organization settings. So they actually give us a link, which I can copy that link address, go back to OpenAI, paste it in. And then here we are in our organization. It's just under your organization settings here. And then the organization ID. So I can just go ahead, copy that, go back to Make, and paste that in and click Save. So it's just going to load. And then now we have access to our OpenAI account through make.com, which gives us a lot of functionality. Now, one more thing to keep in mind is you may need to add a credit card to OpenAI if you've never used it before. They may give you some free credits to test it out. Using these API calls is really, really inexpensive. It's going to cost you like cents or less to do these really basic API calls. But you do need to potentially add a credit card in order to actually test out this automation. So what we're going to do is create a chat completion. This is essentially, as I mentioned before, sending information, like sending a question and getting an answer back from OpenAI. And for the model, we're going to use GPT-4o. Now, by the time you watch this video, we might be on to a different model. It's completely okay. We could even use in this video an old model like GPT 3.5 Turbo, and it would still work totally fine. Those models are actually less expensive, so you could do that if you wanted to. For this test, GPT-4o isn't too expensive, but we could really use any of these models. The difference is just, if there's a future model that's a little bit better, the output that you get might be a little bit better. Let's go ahead and just use GPT-4o. And then what we're going to do is add messages here. So we're going to go ahead and click Add Message. And what we're going to do is have the role of this message. So we can do a few things. First, if you want to add a system message, we can. The system message is essentially telling the AI a little bit of information about itself. So I can go ahead and do that. We'll add a system message and we'll just have it be very simple. You are an expert social media manager. So we're just essentially giving it a role here for the system message. And you can only have one system message per message that we send to the API call. Okay, and then next we're going to add a user message. So user messages are messages that are coming from us. Assistant messages are messages that are coming from the AI. So in theory, you could send kind of a whole conversation back with user and assistant, but we're just going to do the user message here. And the message content is going to take information from our Google Sheet. So what we're going to do is say, please take the product information below. I'm just going to write a prompt and then I'm going to pause the video and then you can see it after I finish writing the prompt. Okay, so I just wrote a really simple prompt, which is please take the product information below and turn it into a post for Twitter. Do not use hashtags. Be sure to add a link to the product. And I have the product name, product description, and product link. And then what I did is when you're clicking into the message content and you want dynamic content, I'm just pulling in like clicking product name, product description, product link to get that dynamic content from the router there or from the Google Sheet. So that's all we need to do. We don't need to add any other messages. And then for max tokens, I'm just going to leave that to, I'm just going to leave it at 0. If 0, the limit of the model will be used. So you can do that. I might actually just do like 2,000. I think the max you can do is 4096, I believe, for OpenAI. That could change in the future. A token is essentially the amount of words or kind of characters that you're going to get back. I believe on average 5 to 6 tokens is 1 word. So in our case, we're not going to end up writing that long of a post. So 2000 is going to work completely fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and click OK. So now we can go ahead and click run and test out this automation. So let's go ahead and click run. It got the row and then it routed it to OpenAI. And then let's see the response that we got. So we can go ahead and click this question mark and then we can see the output. So we have the result here and we can see the tweet that it created. Feel the refreshment with citrus bloom, a delightful mix of juicy mandarin, zesty lemon, and delicate floral notes, etc. And we added the link as we asked it to. So I think this is actually pretty good. And obviously, there's a lot more that you can do to modify the prompt. If you don't like this response, just go ahead, go in and change the prompt, change the system message to give it more information. There's a lot that you can do. But in this case, I kind of like it. I think that it works well. Okay, so the next step after this would actually be to add another module. You can search for Twitter, X, formerly Twitter. You would select create a post. You would create a connection, and then you would have to do a couple of things to get your client ID and client secret to actually post to Twitter. So to do this, what you would need to do is go ahead and you can also click this link here under online help, and it will give you all the links. You would go into the X developer website. You would click developer portal, follow these instructions. You would create a free X developer account, and then go through the process of creating that free account. And then afterwards, you will get your client ID and client secret. So you would store those, you would paste those in here, you would hit save. And then at that point, you would have a very simple connection to just post to Twitter. And then it would be a part of this workflow. So I'm not going to show you that right now because that's a pretty easy thing to go through and set up. But that's what you would do to actually go through and be able to post to Twitter directly from Make. Now let's go through and create an automation to create an Instagram post. What's cool about this is we're going to create an image and we're going to create a the post for that image. Now, you could go into your Google Sheet and just add product images, and that's something that you might want to do because this is an e-commerce store. You probably already have products. But in this case, let's just show you how to build it out and generate your own images, which could be really useful for a lot of different use cases. So let's go ahead and add a OpenAI integration. In this case, let's go ahead and generate an image. The model, let's go ahead and do DALL-E 3. And the same things apply if there are, DALL-E 4 is out by the time you're watching this video. That's totally fine. You could still choose DALL-E 3, or you can do the better model and get a better image. For the prompt, I'm going to write a prompt very quickly here. Okay, so I created a quick prompt. Again, there's a lot you can do to prompt engineer this to tweak it and test it out and see how it works. You can also go into the OpenAI playground and test out different prompts, or ChatGPT, test out different prompts. But I'm going to say, please generate a product image for my candle company. I want the look and feel of the image to be inspired by the product description and create it in an illustration style. And then I'm just adding the product description here. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then what I want to do is let's add another module, and then we'll do OpenAI again. And for this one, we're going to do a completion, and it's going to be very similar to what we did before. We'll just load in the models. We'll do GPT-4o, and it's going to be very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and add a message. First, we'll do a system message. You are an expert social media manager. We'll add another message, which is going to be from us, the user. And I'm going to write a prompt. I'll go back to the other prompt. And why don't I just copy I'll copy it. We'll go to this prompt. Oops, not the image one. The text, message content, paste that in. I'll just have to delete this and put in the dynamic values again. So it is the product name, product description, and product link. Now I'm just going to change and say, turn it into a post for Instagram. Okay. And I'm going to add a link, and instead I'll say, be sure to say, link in bio in the description. Okay. So, and the post description. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead again, max tokens. I can just say 2,000 and say, okay. So here we go. So now we have an automation that's going to create an image and then create a post description for Instagram. So let's go ahead and test this out. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this module for Twitter for now. I guess it doesn't actually really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and run. This just won't post to Twitter because we don't have it. So let's run and test this out. It's not going to let me. I think I can say ignore warnings. And let's go ahead and run it. Actually, it's just not letting me. Let me just go ahead and delete that module. Okay, great. So let's run. And here we go. It's running. It's creating this. And then, oops, it looks like there is an issue here with our OpenAI. So this happens sometimes. It's a good way to debug. So it's saying there's an issue with the API connection. I think that's what is happening is for some reason, I have two connections here and this one isn't working. So I'm going to go back, connect to this one, hit OK. And now I think it's going to work. So I'm just going to try again. So it's doing the first, then it's doing the second. So first it's creating the image. This is going to take a little bit longer just because it's generating a full image here. And then once it's finished generating the image, it's going to go on to the second step. So now let's see how we did. So first we can go ahead and click into this number here with the magnifying glass. We're going to go to output and open it up. And we can see a couple things, which is pretty cool. First, we see the revised prompt. So OpenAI automatically takes our prompt and improves the prompt to make it better. Then we see the URL that it gave us with the image. We can just double click on that, copy it, and then if you paste it into a new tab, here we can see the image that was created, which I think is pretty good and actually would work pretty well for an Instagram post. So now let's go ahead and go to our next one. Let's go to our output, and we can see the result, which is the output that we have, which I think is really good. Link in bio. We have emojis that it automatically put in for Instagram. I think this looks really good, actually. Very cool. So then the next step here is we would search for Instagram, and we would want to do Instagram for business. And then we would say we want to create a photo post. So what's cool is you could also do carousel posts. You can do all sorts of things. In this case, we want to create a photo post, and then you would connect it to your Instagram account. So to do this, you would just log into your Facebook account, create that connection, and then you would have your Instagram connection. Okay, so here we are. I have connected my Facebook account, which is going to give me access to my No Code MBA Instagram page. And then here we are, photo URL and caption. So for the URL, we're just going to click on that. And then what it's doing is giving us the results. And you can see from all of the parts of this automation. So for the Instagram URL, we're going to get it from the data of that OpenAI Whisper DALL-E generated image, and then URL. There we go. And then for the caption, we're going to go up, and we're going to get it from the choices, message, and then it's the content here from that message. So we're going to click that. And that's all we would need to do. So that we can go ahead and click OK. And now if we did this full automation, it would actually post to our No Code MBA Instagram account, which is pretty cool. So already you can see we would have had with Twitter here. So I'll just pull that in so we can show this. You're going to have a product which is going to be routed to post to Twitter, and it's going to post to Instagram. Now, what's really cool is you can click on router, have another one. We can do the same thing where we're creating a post, but this time it could be for LinkedIn, for example, and then connect LinkedIn and then post to LinkedIn as well. So we could post to 3 social medias in one, all in one go in one automation through this Google Sheet automation. So you can add more products here and continue adding them. Now, if you want to set this to run once a day, what you can do is update this. We can say we want to run at regular intervals, or we can say every day at this specific time and hit OK. And then because we're only limiting it to 1, what it's going to do is look for new rows, and then every day go down and post from a new product here. So you could have, 50 products, and it's going to do it every day at the same time. And then you're going to have all of your social media automated here. This is a pretty cool automation, something that I'm thinking about how I could potentially use inside of No Code MBA. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you have any questions at all, please just let me know. This video is brought to you by No Code MBA. If you want to learn how to build your own AI automations and go much deeper into topics like the video we just covered, go to No Code MBA or the link in the description to check out our full in-depth tutorials. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos in the future, and I'll see you in the next video.